Hello, I'm Flora Marshall, a developer here at Fluree. This video is to introduce you to a new feature in Fluree Nexus. After you log in, you'll be routed to your profile page. Click the New Dataset button, and here we'll be creating a dataset. I'll be adding a description and tags. Obviously, the description and tags are optional, so feel free to skip that section. But the main focus is the sample dataset section. So if you would like to use a sample dataset to help you understand how data in Fluree works, how to query, how to transact, check this checkbox. Submit your dataset creation. Here we are at the overview page for this sample data set. So this sample data set has dinosaur data. This is a little different than when you create a regular empty data set. Here we have a README with a little bit more background. We have some popular queries in this table here. And then after I go over briefly the README, we can go into the query and the transact pages. So this README has some overview on the data, the collections, the predicates. It has a query section that touches base on some basic queries, some analytical queries. I won't go into too much detail about the analytical queries, but it'll basically give you a few examples of how you would issue some analytical queries to surface some important data that you would like to see from a data set, as well as ways that you could answer any questions about your data that you have. The last section is the transaction section. We talk a bit about transacting to Fluree, and here you'll see a transaction to create 2 new dinosaur records, and you can actually issue this transaction to create the new records. So now let's head over to the query page. As you can see, this data set already has saved queries populated. Most of them are from the README sections, but you'll have some of them that aren't from the README, but just to give you an example of some of the other queries that you can run on Fluree. So we'll run the first query. Basically, it says select everything from the predicate collection. So by running this, we will get returned all of the predicates in this data set. Before we head over to the transact page, we can go to the overview page again and copy that transaction I mentioned that will create 2 new dinosaur records. So let's go ahead and copy this. Head over to the transact. We issue this transaction, and as you can see, the results have been populated, and we've created 2 new dinosaur records. Feel free to play around with the data a bit more, come up with some queries of your own, maybe transact more dinosaur data if you like. You can also connect this data set to a front end if you'd like. And to wrap up this video, let's head over to the history page. Now we'll see the block data from our data set. So block 2 would be the creation of our data set. 3 is when our dinosaur data was first transacted. And block 4 is when we transacted the 2 new dinosaur records.